It's not bad. I'm gonna go
Whatever
sit
you
on
want.
the end chair.
Okay. So, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Very good.
Okay.
All right.
Got the paper?
So
Pretty much just have a lot of questions to ask.
why we're here at the beginning? Maybe we should ask you.
You have a project?
Yes. Yes.
We're doing the YPI project that all grade 10s have to do in the Lower Mainland.
Cool.
And if you do a presentation, if you win, you get $5,000 for your charity.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Okay. Yeah. So we have a bunch of questions. Is it okay if we just voice record them all?
For sure.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Are we just gonna
Go for
at
it.
'em?
Just
All
shoot.
right. What are your short-term goals?
Okay, so the mission at Canucks Autism Network is to provide year-long programming for families living with autism in BC. So we do sports programs, social programs, camps, employment-related programs, a whole range of stuff. And so that's the first part of our mission, and then the second part is to build capacity and awareness in community networks. So we do a lot of like community partnerships with different rec centers to help build their skills related to working with autism. Lots of like community events, just go out and educate the general public about what autism is. We do awareness events for employers. So yeah, those are big goals. But I guess really specific short-term goals would be like adding more programming and more communities in BC, expanding the variety of programs that we offer. Yeah, just kind of getting in touch with more people.
Okay. Okay, volunteers. How do you attract volunteers?
So we have about 600 volunteers in our database.
Okay.
They're not all currently active in a program. So we have volunteers who help at family events, who come to camp, who help with the sports events, who come to community events, who help in the office. And we haven't had a lot of difficulty attracting volunteers, to be totally honest. I think the name like really draws people in. So I don't know if a lot of people Google like autism volunteer or volunteer, or I mean, we kind of come up. We do go to some like fairs and events. So for example, like SFU, UBC, when they have their like student fairs, we go to those. Yeah, I'm not the volunteer manager, so I'm not 100% sure all the initiatives she's doing, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a selection process to choose
Yep.
them? Okay.
Yeah, so they come in, we do like a orientation with them. Well, first of all, they have to do like an online application, and then they come in for like a general orientation night, and then they get to hear about the programs a bit, and then after that they sort of like select the programs that they're interested in. They have to do like a CRC, like all that kind of standard volunteering stuff. Yeah.
What specific jobs do they do? Volunteers.
Yeah, so they might, like for example, just do a one-day thing where they might come to like a family, like for example on Saturday we have a skate at Rogers Arena.
Right. Yeah.
So we might have some volunteers come to that and help people tie their skates and like maybe give out popcorn or like that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So that would be like kind of the minimal commitment, and then some of our volunteers like sign up to work in a weekly sports program, so they might come to the swim program and actually get in the water with the kids and help the instructors. Come to camps. We do recruit volunteers for specific projects in the office, like data entry things or developing, new materials that we need for different projects or whatever. Lots of jobs.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any major sponsors?
We have lots of major sponsors.
On
So
the website, yeah.
yeah, our primary funder is I shouldn't say our primary funder. Our largest funder is the Canucks for Kids Fund.
Okay.
So they provide about 37% of the funding that we use to run our programs. But then that said, there's lots of other big groups that help us out a lot. So, like Macquarie, Best Buy, Ledcor, Finning, like there's a lot of very big groups, and also like literally hundreds of individual donors who to help us run the programs that we run.
Do you receive government funding?
No.
All right.
None.
What have been your most successful fundraisers that you've done?
Our biggest fundraising event is an annual fishing tournament that we do called Fishing for Kids.
Okay.
So it takes place in August up at like the Haida Gwaii Islands. So they and like a couple Canuck players usually go. Mike Gillis usually goes. There's a bit of a celeb factor, and then a lot of like kind of hardcore business guys go. So you get, I think there's about 30 or 40 of them up there, and they do some fundraising and some fishing. And last year they raised over $1 million.
Wow.
Nice.
So that's the biggest one.
Yeah, definitely. How many do you have a year?
A lot.
A lot.
So we have fundraisers that we run. Like for example, April 12th is our annual family festival. So there's like a walk. You can sign up like with a family, like as a team, and fundraise for that event. But we also have a lot of third-party events so people who come to us and say, hey, I want to run a golf tournament and have the proceeds go to Canucks Autism Network. So probably in a year, I don't know, a lot, like well over 20 for sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay. How many people work here?
We have 18 full-time staff and 160 part-time staff.
Okay. Okay. So
A
pretty
lot,
much
plus
the
all the
service.
volunteers.
Yeah. Yes. Are there any age restrictions to who you serve?
Mm-hmm. There are. So it depends on the program.
Uh-huh.
So a program like Family Camp or a family event, anyone can come. So it doesn't matter how old the individual with autism is. If it's a young adult, an older adult, a preschooler, they get access to those programs. But like, you know, we have specific, for example, social clubs for teens, or like preschool skating, or soccer is like 5 to 15 or 7 to 15. So yeah, it just depends on the program.
Okay.
We do have programs for everybody though.
How many people do you help per year? It's kind of a tough question.
We have around 900 members in our database right now. So a member is like the individual DSD, and then they come with a family who also might be accessing programs. So yeah, and actually we feel that we have a lot of room to grow, that we're, like, just to give you an example, in Vancouver alone, like City of Vancouver, there's well over 800 kids under 18 who have autism. So, and our services go through the whole Lower Mainland as well as South Island, Victoria. So we're barely scratching the surface of the families out there. So we want to make that number a lot bigger.
Yeah. So like, that's the next question is, do you intend to expand it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're just kind of scratching the surface. A lot of our programs right now do lean towards kids, so we're looking to expand services for teens, young adults, and adults as well.
What's your favorite part of your job?
I have the best job in the world. So I'm the director of programming. But in my role, you could not create like a better job suited to who I am. So like, I get to work with autism. So I have like I have a PhD in special ed. I'm a certified behavior consultant. I've been working with kids with autism for a long time, sort of in more clinical settings, and now I get to combine that interest with sports and rec, which is something I'm personally really passionate about. So, and I think that these families are really underserved in their ability to access that type of programming for their kids. So it's amazing. I work with a huge team of really committed, passionate people, and we deliver really fun programs. So what's not to like?
What's the hardest part of your job?
I don't know. There's a lot of diversity in the clientele that we support. So being able to ensure that the programs are working well for everyone who's accessing them can be a challenge sometimes, not in a bad way, but you have to think about how to make it work for everybody. Purely managing the volume, like the number of programs, the number of staff, how to train those staff, how to ensure those staff are supported, those are probably the biggest challenges.
Do the Canucks ever come out and see the kids? Because I mean, it's Canucks Autism Foundation.
They do, yeah, they do. They're busy people.
Yeah, obviously.
They're very busy in the hockey season, like really, really busy, and they have a lot of commitments that are outside just the games we see them play. So, but and then in the summer, some of them are not in the Vancouver area necessarily. But that said, our spokesperson is Dan Hanhuse. He's our like designated guy. So he, we can kind of think about the events that we really want him to come out to. So yeah, we have player involvement, like in some of our larger events, larger fundraising events. Certainly, like Mike Gillis has been incredibly supportive as well. So yeah, Finn comes to a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that having the Canucks name in your name like helps you a lot, or?
It's enormous. Like it is the horsepower behind the growth of this organization. We're only 6 years old. The fact that we're able to do what we've done in that amount of time, I attribute a huge percentage of that. We have some passion and skill, but that's the horsepower to attracting, especially to attracting sponsors and donors.
That's how
and
we found you
volunteers.
too, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, that sounds cool. So yeah, it's great.
Were they there from day one?
Yep. So one of the founders of Canucks Autism Network is Paulo Aquilini. So he's one of the owners, and his son has autism, and his son has volunteered with us. He's hilarious. So we are incredibly fortunate to have this, like, the privilege of holding the brand. We don't take that lightly. We really try to deliver very high quality stuff.
Well, that's pretty much everything on the
Okay.
list.
That's it.
So the big question is, if we
got the $5,000, where would it be directed to in the program?
We have lots of projects, so we could really think about what kind of thing would make the most sense. Honestly, there's stuff coming across the table all the time. There's a lot of different interests that our families have articulated. If we had all the money in the world, we'd add a bajillion more things.
Oh, yeah.
But we get a lot of requests just to expand programs to more communities that aren't that we don't have programs in right now, to extend the age group, so to offer things for younger kids, to offer things for young adults, to add new programs. We're going after adding a music program in the fall, adding a skiing program in the fall. All that stuff takes funding. So, but $5,000, we can do a lot with $5,000.
Yeah.
Like, we can run, we can service a lot of kids with $5,000 because we work with community partners and because we involve volunteers in our program, and we're very thoughtful about how we use our money. So,
So for autism, what do the kids do? Like they have days, like the skating trip on Saturday?
Yeah.
Do they, like a lot of those?
Did they come out to those?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. So, like, if you, I don't know how much of a chance you've had to look at the website, but
we stalked your website, by the way.
Oh, good. Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear it. So, like, the skate, for example, is a family event. So the whole family gets to come to Rogers Arena, including the child with autism or the teen with autism or however old they are. And, they get to do that together. And the magic of the family events is that it's such a community feeling. It's all these families who get it. They understand what they're going through. They know they're in a really supportive, non-judgmental environment where, no one's going to question anything that happens. Like, we're just here to support your kids kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like a sports program, usually it's just the child with ASD who participates, not necessarily the whole family, right? So it just, depends on the group. And we have a siblings program that's just for siblings of kids with autism to come out and meet each other. Again, like, understand,
Just like talk and stuff.
yeah, talk, like, you're not the only one out there has these kind of experiences.
Yeah.
Like,
There's like a photos on your website, and we were wondering if we could just use that for our PowerPoint.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Anything on the website you can
Thanks.
use.
Can we take photos around here?
For your PowerPoint?
What type of photos are we
know?
going to take
I
around
don't-
here?
Oh, I meant no.
We're here.
I meant what was I gonna say? For the skate thing, are we allowed to go?
Sadly, no.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
No.
it's a very popular event, and
Yeah.
we have a very limited space.
Oh.
And we had like such a long list of volunteers who
Yeah.
wanted to come to that, so we've already had to say no to a lot of people,
Okay.
unfortunately.
You know, there's many different spectrums of autism.
Yeah.
Is it harder for the people who suffer more from it to be in the programs?
I don't think so. I mean, we offer one-on-one support in every program.
Okay.
If a kid needs two-on-one support, we'll find a way to make that
Yeah.
happen. I think sometimes, to be totally honest, sometimes kids who don't talk or who have significant problem behavior.
Yeah, my cousin can't communicate.
There you go. So sometimes those kids, it's so obvious they need support. So people come in and support them, and it's just like, it's like a no-brainer, right? But some of the kids who are more subtly affected by autism, I actually think they have sometimes the hardest challenge, because people don't necessarily see a disability,
Yeah.
and they just think, like, why is that kid doing that? Like,
Yeah.
they're being deliberately whatever, I
Yeah.
don't know, pick a word. And it's actually a lot of those kids who I find sometimes have a lot of the challenges.
It is hard because
So-
everyone thinks you're fine and they just think you're goofing off. Right?
Yeah, you're goofing off, you're being rude or
Yeah.
whatever, when really the kid just does not have the social understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think you can really attach a challenge to either end of the spectrum. I think it really depends on the kid.
thank you so much for having us.
You are welcome.